Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while since I've made a money, personal finance kind of video, but I love watching money content. I've learned a lot about personal finance from the internet and YouTube videos specifically. Not that this is going to be a video that you can learn from. This is just more about getting nosy into my own personal spending. What fun times. So I thought it would be fun to compare what I spend in a month now versus what I spent in a month pre-pandemic. What different times they are. And to sort of caveat that, I know for a lot of the UK, people have gone back to normal. I haven't. And so that has impacted my spending, obviously. I'm also pregnant, which definitely impacts my spending because I'm doing a lot less stuff on top of the not doing a lot of stuff because of the pandemic. But I still think it would be interesting to compare. And I have my own color coordinated spreadsheets for my monthly spending and things. And I've been tracking this, I don't know for how long, but definitely since pre-pandemic times. So I got the data, and also I use Monzo, so obviously Monzo has everything in there as well. I do love me some Monzo, not Spawn. Before we get into the numbers, obviously money is a very personal thing. It can also be a really emotional thing. I am just one person. I have been very privileged during this pandemic. Me and my partner have been both able to keep working and working from home. During the last 2 years, we haven't had any dependents, although that is about to change. And I just really hope that this video is just something that you can have a fun, curious time with. And please don't compare yourself to the numbers and like my spending habits at all, because it is very likely that we're leading different-ish lives. And I just hope that with this video, you can just kind of be a bit nosy, be a bit curious, and just kind of like have a fun time peeking into somebody else's finances instead of comparing, because it is very likely that we all have very different situations and money situations. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say that up front before we dive in to all of the juicy numbers. Now, what we're going to go through is just my personal expenses. Dan and I also have a joint account together, and that is where things like our mortgage and our bills and the majority of our food shopping and like all of that stuff, all of that comes out of the joint account. But this is my account, the like Hannah's fun monies that I get that I can just spend however I want without my husband's approval. And also, this isn't business expenses. This is purely me, Hannah, personal expenses, things that I spend money on as an individual. In general, though, mine and Dan's joint expenses during the pandemic have gone up, and my personal expenses has gone down. I think it probably evens out somewhere along the way, but our like household spending has increased, whereas like my personal spending has decreased. And that is because I used to spend a lot of money on things like holidays and theatre tickets, and we shall see how that has changed. So without further ado, let's dive in. I'm going to be comparing the month of January 2022 to January 2020. So we're going to go back in time first. Let's cast our minds back to January 2020. What a great time. Maybe the best January there's ever been. Also, some of these categories for things are just like the names of the categories that Monzo gives. And then occasionally there's one that I created because I wanted to like separate stuff out. So in January 2020, I spent £155 on personal care. So for context, I went on holiday at the end of January, and these personal care items included a trip to the salon. So that could have been getting my nails done, or it could have been getting a wax. I'm not sure. Did I have my nails done for that trip? Maybe. And then a haircut as well. Got my hair trimmed apparently in January 2020. I also paid the deposit for my makeup artist for the wedding that month apparently too. And I went to the dentist, which counts as personal care, that dental care. I also spent £15 on groceries that month. But what Monzo tells me is that I actually just sent that £15 to Dan's personal account and put it under the groceries category. So maybe Dan did a food shop and accidentally put it on his personal card instead of the joint card, and so I just like sent him money for that. I don't know. Next up is eating out. And I spent £74 on eating out in January 2020. And this is where I'm fully getting exposed for my diet and my habits. The places that I spent my eating out money was McDonald's, Greg's, KFC, Just Eat, and the Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club is a great breakfast restaurant cafe in London. I don't know if it's in other places, but there's a few of them in London and it's delicious. Oh wow. Remember going for brunch? Was that brunch with Dodie? I can't remember. I think the last time I went to the Breakfast Club was with Dodie, so maybe that was January 2020. Who knows? Okay, next up, this is the biggest expense of this month, which is holidays. I spent £359 in the holidays category. Now this holiday was a adult Disney World holiday. We went to Orlando, Florida, did the Disney World Resort. We also did Universal and the Kennedy Space Center. And obviously this holiday was more expensive than £359, but the flights and the actual like theme park tickets to Disney were already purchased. So this is stuff that I actually spent in January. So it was just like other random food and shop stuff in Disney. My Universal ticket was included in this. My Kennedy Space Center ticket was included in this. And then just like other food and drink. And maybe also like the odd Uber getting around. That holiday was so good. It's actually a complete accident that I'm wearing this jumper for this video because I bought this for that trip, this like Disney jumper. I'm so glad and so grateful that we managed to get that in before lockdown, because also doing like a big Disney World holiday as an adult was something that was on my bucket list like pre having a baby, so nailed it. I spent £14 on transport in January, and Monzo tells me that that was a train ticket, and I'm assuming it was to Gatwick, so maybe that should have gone in the holidays category instead of transport, but hey, there we go. In the entertainment category, I spent £180. Now the majority of this was theatre tickets. My Monzo statement just says like ATG tickets or whatever. I have no memory of what this was actually for, but probably didn't go and probably ended up getting a refund for it. It would have either been Wicked, because I had tickets to that with my sister that got cancelled, or maybe Dear Evan Hansen, because I had tickets to that with my mum that got cancelled. One of those two probably. Sad. Still haven't been back to see a West End show. And then also I did a swing dance workshop for a friend's birthday. And so that includes the ticket price for that. And that was so much fun. That was so great. I spent £82 on my gym membership. At the time I was a member of Virgin Active, and that got cancelled during the pandemic. And then shopping is our final category. And I spent £115 shopping. And actually, this jumper was part of that shopping trip. So yeah, I've had this for like over 2 years now. What fun. But basically I was scouring Depop and charity shops for stuff to wear on my Disney holiday and stuff to like go Disney bounding in. So that is the majority of that price, I think. And then also accessorize at the airport because my bag broke and I needed to last minute purchase a bag just to transfer all of my stuff in. But it happens. It happens. I did basically spend the entirety of this Disney World holiday with safety pins in my backpack, which meant that going through all of the like security gates every single time, like going into each new park, I would have to like undo all of these safety pins. But I just loved that bag. I was determined. I was like, this was the bag that I am having at Disney World. Okay, so our January 2020 spending comes to a total of £994. So let's see how that compares to January 2022. So we do have some personal care items on our list. I spent £39 on personal care in January, which included the Down Dog app. I managed to get like a year subscription of their apps for like super cheap. I think probably because they were doing like a January deal or something. But I've been using their prenatal yoga app and really loving it. And then the rest of that is made up from some swimming. This was before I actually just caved and started paying a more expensive membership to a bougie gym that has a very lovely pool. But this swimming was just like a few payments here and there for some lane swimming at another pool. And then I decided that I wanted to treat myself in pregnancy and go to the bougie pool. But yes, so I spent £55 eating out in January 2022. I went to Wagamama with my mum and I treated her when she came down to visit, and then also 3 trips to McDonald's. So not a lot has changed. Oh dear. I spent £12 on transport, which was 1 Uber ride. And then in entertainment, I spent £173. Now this is a bit of an anomaly because most of that is made up of my birthday karaoke booking. My birthday was in February, but I booked the karaoke room in January, and that is the majority of that number. And then also my Cineworld card, but have I even been going to the cinema enough to warrant having that unlimited card at the moment? Probably not. And then also snacks at said cinema. And then the last category, wow, we got through that quicker than 2020, is shopping, where I spent £47. And this was the 13 going on 30 dress that I bought on Depop for my 30th birthday. And I also bought myself some swimming caps for my swimming to keep my hair dry, although they actually don't really work, so that was a bit of a waste of money. That is it. In January 2022, I spent a total of £326, but basically half of that was this one-off like birthday karaoke booking. Wow. That's basically a third of what I was spending pre-pandemic. But yes, there we go. These are just 2 random months that I picked out. Obviously, these months aren't necessarily representative or reflective of all of my average pre-pandemic spending or current pandemic spending, but they do give a little glimpse into the kind of differences in my lifestyle currently and also just like my spending habits currently. So there we have it. Thank you so much for watching. Were you surprised by any of the ways that I spend my money? Maybe the amount I spend on McDonald's, perhaps? Ugh, am I ashamed? Maybe a little bit. And of course, only share if you feel comfortable, but I'd also be interested in hearing in the comments how your spending has changed from pre-pandemic to now, if at all. And I hope that you're doing well, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.